I don't want to cut the bologna. I'm scared to cut bologna. Hello homemakers, I'm Melinda and I'm cooking my way through Betty Crocker's 1971 recipe card library. And today we're making bologna biscuits with vegetables in my new kitchen. I'm in a new apartment, we got a new kitchen, it's all set up, ready to cook, and we're making bologna biscuits with vegetables. This is from section C, budget casseroles, and it is card number 27. And bologna biscuits with vegetables, I could best describe it as like a cousin to a chicken pot pie, but instead of chicken, it's bologna, and instead of a pie crust, it's biscuits that also have bologna in it. It looks really, really gross. I don't think it's gonna be good. The thought of bologna stresses me out because it's so processed, but we're gonna try it. So let's go. Let's take a look at these ingredients. For bologna biscuits with vegetables, we'll need an onion sliced. We will need some shortening. We'll need some flour. We'll need salt and pepper. We'll need a can of tomatoes. We need a ½ pound of bologna cut into cubes, and then we need cooked carrots and cooked green beans. So I took a shortcut and I bought this bag of mixed vegetables, which includes carrots and green beans, but also has corn and peas. Because I thought, I don't know, this seems like the Betty way. She might have been referring to like canned carrots and canned green beans, but I thought that the frozen might be a little bit better. We'll find out. And then for the bologna biscuits, you need more flour, baking powder, more shortening, more bologna, and milk. All right, let's get into it. All right, so the first step is to prep some of the ingredients for the filling. So I am going to just cook these mixed vegetables in a pot of water on the stove to kind of steam them. Oh yeah, that's some Betty Crocker. Mixed veggies. So while the vegetables are steaming, I'm gonna go ahead and chop an onion. So I went to the deli and I asked for the bologna unsliced. She still had to give it to me. The largest slice she could do is an inch. So I have two 1-inch chunks of bologna. Oh no. Here she is. I don't know what it's supposed to smell like. Oh! Oh, oh no! See how it's like discolored kind of? Is that bad? Has my bologna gone bad? ½ pound of bologna is cut into larger cubes, and then a ¼ pound is cut into 1/4 inch cubes. I guess if this is I'm not gonna try to do math. Y'all know I can't do math. I'm just gonna save I'm just gonna save this much to be small. Do you think that's 1/4 and that's a ½ pound? How does math work again? Oh no. It's so spongy. This at one point was an animal. What is the desire with bologna? What is bologna's end goal? So that was going in the filling. This is going in the biscuits that go on top. So I'm gonna do like a nice small dice. Okay, that's our smaller dice, I guess. Okay, we have some ingredients prepped. I'm gonna go check on the vegetables and then we'll start to assemble the filling. We have all of our ingredients prepped for the filling, so we're gonna go ahead and get started over on the skillet. I'm preheating the oven to 425, and now we are going to cook and stir the onion in shortening until tender. Okay, so now the onions are starting to get tender in the shortening, so I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of flour. And I'm also gonna add some salt and some pepper. Uh-oh, there's a bit of a mess in the stove. And the goal here is we're kind of trying to create a roux with the flour and the shortening. Now I'm going to add in the tomatoes, and hopefully the flour roux kind of mixes with the tomato juice and creates kind of a nice thick tomato sauce. Okay, so now the tomato mixture is looking pretty thick, pretty creamy. I'm going to add in our mixed vegetables and our bologna. We have our filling fresh from the stovetop, and it says to pour into an ungreased baking pan. It says 8 by 8, but this is kind of not a square. It's a rectangle, but it's all I have. So I think it'll be fine. Ooh. It looks more appetizing than I thought it would. It's colorful. All right. Oh. Okay, so now, this doesn't really make sense to me, but it says to place it in the oven, prepare the biscuit dough, and then bake it. So I guess we're just putting it in the oven now to bake unbiscuited for a while so it stays warm and continues to cook. So we'll put this in the oven and then we'll make the biscuit dough. Good luck in there. Okay. So while that's in the oven, we're gonna make the biscuit dough to drop on top. We are gonna start with the dry ingredients, which is 1 cup of flour. Yeah, strange that this is the first time I'm making biscuits and it's not calling for Bisquick. Questionable. 1.5 teaspoons baking powder and more shortening. I'm running through the shortening. 2 tablespoons of shortening. Wait, mix dry. Oh yeah. Let me mix this first before I put the shortening in. Let me just. Oh, I should put a 1/2 teaspoon of salt in. That's what I should be doing. I'm all frazzled. So we mixed our dry ingredients. Now we're going to do 2 tablespoons of shortening. 2. We are going to cut it in until mixture looks like meal. So I have this dough cutter that I'm going to use, but if you don't have that, you could just use your fingers to kind of get the shortening all throughout the flour. Now we stir in the bologna and the milk. So a 1/2 cup of milk. And then we, oh, so gross. Okay. I'm gonna get cleaned up and then we're gonna drop these biscuits onto the filling. Okay, so we are dropping 8 or 9 tablespoons full onto this hot vegetable mixture. So we're just gonna plop it on, I guess. I'm not sure how much they're gonna spread. We have 8 biscuit clumps. And we're gonna pop this back in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes. All right, while the bologna biscuits are in the oven, I thought we could do a little Betty history. Because we're in my new kitchen today, I thought I could talk about the Betty Crocker kitchens. So at the General Mills headquarters in Minneapolis are the Betty Crocker kitchens, and these were real working test kitchens where the home economists would perform their duties as Betty Crocker. And they were once a huge tourist destination. I think they had over 2 million visitors while they were open, and a lot of the visitors were surprised when they showed up that Betty Crocker wasn't a real person. They said that the receptionists had tissues handy in case people cried when they found out she wasn't real. So test kitchens like this became popular around the 1930s. This is when food businesses first started popping up, like industrial food businesses like Jell-O, Kellogg's, Hershey. They would have these test kitchens to develop the recipes because they found that sales would be better if they said that their recipes were kitchen tested. And so Betty Crocker, of course, needed her own kitchen to test recipes in. So as Betty's presence grew, the staff had to grow to accommodate all of her projects, and the kitchen had to grow and grow to accommodate the new staff until finally, when General Mills moved to a new building, they took over an entire floor of the building. And they had different themed kitchens for different parts of the process, and they had a reception area that had an area for cooking demonstrations and film screenings. They had a formal dining room where executives could come taste recipes. They had a special polka dot colored room that Betty used to showcase her appliances. She had the kitchen of tomorrow, which had all of these state-of-the-art appliances, including a massive oven that could fit 12 cakes, and it rotated around to cook all 12 cakes evenly. So it was a huge operation, and not only did they make recipes there and do cooking and baking testing, but they also wrote letters out of the test kitchen and worked on recipe booklets and pamphlets and ran the radio program out of the test kitchen. So it was really a bustling area to make Betty Crocker come alive. And it became such a popular destination that they started to refine the style of the kitchens to be more of a tourist attraction. So in the 60s, when General Mills moved again out to the suburbs of Minneapolis, they created Betty Crocker's Kitchens of the World. And so all of these different themed kitchens became different styles of kitchens. So there was a California style kitchen, a Mediterranean style kitchen, a Scandinavian style kitchen. But over time, they started to find out that it was hard to keep their secrets about their products if they were giving tours, and so they would have to shut down multiple kitchens at a time when tour groups would come through to hide their proprietary secrets. And they realized that it wasn't really worthwhile to tour anymore, and so in 1985, they closed the Betty Crocker Kitchens of the World permanently, closed to the public. So they still, to this day, have a massive test kitchen where they continue to work on the recipes, but it's no longer open to the public. But I think it's really cool that, like, not only was Betty and her team kind of focused on the science and the creation of really well-developed recipes, but also still wanted to have that kind of warmth and friendliness of the homemaker. And so she was inviting people in and making sure that the space felt warm and accommodating. I thought that was really cool. Wow. If I didn't know there was bologna in there, I'd find that appetizing. It's just very intriguing. I don't want to eat it. I don't want to eat bologna. It's a bunch of bologna. Holy bologna. There's so much bologna. Okay, I'm trying to get some biscuit and some veg. It's actually surprisingly flavorful. Like the tomato vegetable situation is like pretty good. Compared to salmon shortcakes, which is like this, it's a very similar thing because it's just like a strong tomato flavor. I think that helps. I don't know what to say about it. I mean, it's the texture of a cube of bologna is just so weird. It's like I was chewing through all of the things and like, okay, that's a vegetable, okay, that's biscuit, and then I was like, oh, that's the bologna. It's like eating a sponge. It's actually like really flavorful. Like I didn't think bologna tasted like anything, but I don't hate it.
5 out of 5.
No, it's not a 5 out of 5. Absolutely not. But yeah, the meat is like spiced well. Like I only put salt and pepper in this, so the fact that I'm feeling some spices is like it must be in the meat. I don't know, dude. This isn't bad. It's if I can get past the fact that it's bologna and just like enjoy the meal, I don't hate it. But it's such a bizarre concept. I'm a little shook. I just don't know. I don't know what's happening. This is a decent casserole.
No, it's
Ben, my brain is having trouble processing what's happening because I'm enjoying it and I didn't want to. Okay, bologna biscuits with vegetables surprised me. I was expecting to not be able to swallow it. I thought it was gonna be so bad. And there was actually some pretty okay flavors in there. Like I liked the tomato sauce that kind of came together with all the vegetables. Like it was pretty flavorful given that it was just tomatoes. And the bologna itself wasn't bad. I felt like it wasn't just like placeholder in the meal. It was like adding to the flavor, which I wasn't expecting because I like couldn't tell you before today what bologna tasted like, but it definitely had some flavor to it. And maybe that's just the bologna I picked up at the market, but I was pleasantly surprised. Like this wasn't bad. I ate it. Will I eat any leftovers? I don't know. I'm glad to have tasted this because it kind of opened my eyes a little bit that like not always the things that you think will be gross end up being gross. So I'm gonna give it, I think I'll give it 3 out of 5 red spoons. Okay, back in the box. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And until next time, happy homemaking.